This is our block so far. We're about to start decking it. Now the very next step is very, very important when it comes to squaring up blocks. The most important thing is being clean, cleaning out the chips in your vise, making sure your part is deburred. One tiny chip or burr can actually kill an entire part. So I'm going to show you guys how to use a file. Now this file is not a diamond file, this is just a standard file. You do have the files that have the shape of crisscross. You can scrape those back and forth, but if you actually have the file that just has the angled lines that just go in one direction, then you need to scrape, and when you scrape, let go. Don't pull back because that can actually dull your file. So you scrape and come up, and you want to do this at a 45-degree angle. And that's just going to put a nice even chamfer. Now, I have a lot of people, they'll actually try to file stuff and they'll be uneven. So they'll have a deep chamfer on this edge, they'll have a light chamfer on this edge, they'll have a chamfer on the left, nothing on the right. So try to make it symmetrical and even, and it will make a huge difference in the way your part turns out. So not only are you deburring your part, you're actually making it look good cosmetically. So you want to go around each corner and file out your part, and then whenever you get done filing, then you want to stone it. Now if you're at home right now or wherever you're at and you're filing and it's not doing a good job and you're wondering what the hell's going on, then you probably just need a new file. It's probably just a dull file. So go on each edge, make sure that you put a 45 on it. And if you have a buffing wheel, I would suggest filing your part with a file and then going on the buffing wheel with it. That tends to leave a great edge. Not only that, whenever you file something, it could actually kick up another burr. So that's why you want to stone it or buff it after you file it. So other than that, just continue on with deburring your part and cleaning your vise, and then we'll move on to the next step. Alright, now on to decking. So what I'm going to do is skim the top, take my part out and measure it, and then that will let me know how much I need to take off. So we're just going to use this 1/2-inch end mill. You can use a shell mill, but since I already have my solid holder with my 1/2-inch end mill in there, I'm just going to go ahead and skim it. Alright, so I'm just going to raise it up and touch my end mill on the corner of the part, and then skim the top. Now it didn't clean up, so I'm just going to raise it up a little bit more and go back across. Alright, so now I'm going to take it out and measure it. So make sure everything's clean, wipe off your part. Try not to check on a burr. So I'm getting 0.963, 0.962, and I'm going to check for taper, 0.962, 0.965, so make sure you're clean. Make sure your head's trimmed in. If you got taper, then it could be two things. It could be the head's not trimmed in or you're not clean. Alright, so I'm getting about 0.965. So I'm going to take it out, and because this is a vise stop, it doesn't have to be super perfect. So I'm going to make sure that all these chips in the bottom are cleaned out, and then I'm going to bring down my end mill. I'm going to do a little bit of math, bring down my end mill, leaving about 10-15 thou to clean up for a finish pass, and then we will go from there. So after I rough it, I'm going to take it back out, measure it, make sure I'm not, too close to the dimension, and then I will take my finish pass. Now if it actually had to be perfect, what I would do was, I would grind it personally, but if I had to do it on a manual mill, I would take 2 finish passes. So I would rough it, then I would take it out, clean everything, take 1 skim pass, measure it, because whenever you're roughing, it could actually vibrate the part out of the machine. So you take 1 skim pass to kind of verify your dimension, and then you'll take your 2nd skim pass for your final dimension. So I've clamped it in there. I'm going to run my power feed over so I can beat it down. You want to make sure you're sitting flat on the parallels. So now that the parallels are not moving, I can go over here. All right, now I'm going to do my math. So I got 0.965 minus 0.750. So 215 thou. So I'm going to zero out my knee. And we're just going to go down 200 thou. So 100, 200. And that'll leave me 15 thou to get my dimension. Turn my spindle on. Okay, so now I'm going to turn my spindle off and make sure that my parallels did not move, which they have not. So it is safe to assume at this point that I can take the rest of the 15 thou because my parallels did not move. Now, like I said, if this had to be perfect, what you do is you take it out, measure it, put it back in, skim it, take it out, measure it, and you do that 2 or 3 times until you get your perfect dimension. So we're just going to take our 15 thou finish pass. And I'm going to step over as much as I can with this end mill so I don't have a bunch of little lines on the top of my part. Alright, so now that our part is now decked to thickness, what you want to do is take it out, deburr everything, and then we're going to add in all the holes.